YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Josh. We back at this thing with another one. We woke up this morning. It's another beautiful day. All praise to the Most High. This mindset is what you need to have as a man to attract others. This mindset is mandatory for you to have being a man. It's not mandatory for women to have this. It's not mandatory for children to have this. But as a man, for you to go from boy to man, you got to look at life from this perspective. This mindset that you have to have is the mindset of being optimistic through whatever situation that you're going through. As a man, you are a problem solver. You can't point out the problems consistently and refuse to do something about them. You must be the person that faces the adversity, looks at the situation, and accepting what you can do to make yourself a better version of yourself coming out of it. The opposite mindset of this that you don't want to have, which will repel others from your life, is having a pessimistic viewpoint, a pessimistic perspective on everything that you go through. The person that has this mindset typically goes through life thinking that no problems are supposed to go their way. They're not supposed to face any sort of adversity. And whenever they are faced with that adversity, they do not know how to handle it, react to it, get through it. Their energy is detected by others. If you are having a pessimistic attitude towards your life situation, towards your adversity, you don't even have to open your mouth. It's automatically coming off of you, and people are scared to approach you, to help you and assist you get through whatever situation in your life, because they feel that is if they were to help you, you would actually go against them, as opposed to their help being valued and being useful to helping you get through that situation. They feel like their help is pouring into bad ground, as if it's pouring into a pot that's got a bunch of holes in it, and so it's just leaking out anyways. Nobody wants to be around that. Nobody wants to help you get through that. Nobody cares more about your problems than yourself. So if somebody is willing to help you get through your problems, despite having their own problems, because that's another thing. These type of people think that some people or nobody has it as bad as them. They think that there are actually people in this world, no matter how good their life may look on social media, that they believe that there is such thing as a life with no problems, no strife, or no sort of adversity. They honestly believe that. And so when they're faced with it, they're upset and frustrated with the situation, that why is it them that's going through these problems as opposed to all these other people that are not going through the same thing as them. They are constantly comparing themselves, and it's taking away their joy, and it will continue to weigh them down, and it gets to a point where there is nothing you can do to help them. People hate being around people like this. So the worst type of man, because there are going to be women and children that, especially children, their lives shouldn't be hard or difficult. So if it is hard or difficult, there's their first time facing it and going through it. Women also get some sort of leeway on this because they're emotional, and women are supposed to comfort others, and that's just a part of it. But as a man, and you having that mindset, how do you think a woman will look at you if all you do is complain about your bills, complain about your job, complain about your circumstance, complain about finances, if you're not willing to do anything about it? You are constantly pointing out the problems, time after time, day after day, week after week, instead of pointing out what you are going to do to solve it. Because that problem is in front of you to solve it. That's what life is all about. It's all about you facing problems that are going to challenge you so that it can end up changing you to become the best version of yourself. So you're supposed to be having issues with your relationship. You're supposed to be having issues with your finances. Sometimes from time to time, you're supposed to be having issues with jobs, and you're supposed to have issues with friends and not seeing eye to eye with everybody and going through some sort of strife with people. Those are all examples, and the examples can be endless. They're not limited to that, but they can be endless. And it's all there present for you to be changed. It's there to challenge you. You have to believe that God is not going to put you in some sort of situation that you are not going to be willing to handle. That's why I love the gym so much, because it is a physical representation of this. When you go to the gym, you are going to put your body through adversity. You're going to put a lot of stress on your muscles, on your heart, even on your mind. Because working out, you are literally tearing those muscle fibers so that when they grow back bigger and stronger and being able to endure much more. And if you stay consistent with that, the stronger you get, the better you get. It is a physical representation of how life is supposed to be lived when you're faced with problems. So that's why it's important for you to go to the gym every single day, not because of the physical aspect of looking like something, but because of the mental aspect. That mentally, for you to get through something like that, an hour every day, 6 days a week, for you to get through something like that, takes a lot of willpower, a lot of mental toughness, which is what, and you want to know something, every single time you go to the gym, it's going to challenge you. And since it challenges you, it also changes you. Your body starts looking different. Your mind, you start thinking different. All from going to the gym. That's why people avoid it. Because it's adversity, it's problems, it's strife that people don't want to go through. People are willing to stay the same as long as they don't have to go through any sort of hurt. Well, I'm telling you, as you go through life, you are going to face adversity. You're going to face that season of struggle where it's going to challenge you. And so instead of you having to try to get ready and prepare and just go through it, how about you get ready? And once you get ready, stay ready. Because right now, for example, I don't have really any sort of strife or any sort of adversity in my life. I have before. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or my life is perfect. I have before, but I can willingly sit here and say I do not have any sort of issues or problems in my life right now, but I take that as the calm before the storm. And it makes me appreciate this time even more because I know eventually it's going to be some strife on the way. It's going to be some adversity on the way. God has got something in front of me that's going to challenge me, and I'm willing to go through it. Last year, I faced a season of depression that lasted for about 18 months, all because of my job. So I had to do what I had to do. I had to go through that season, get to the end of it so I can step away and get to a better situation where my mental health can be great. I'm telling you right now, the light is at the end of the tunnel. All you got to do is just keep pushing. All you got to do is just keep pushing. You are in the process of getting better. You cannot complain about women. You cannot complain about your finances. You cannot complain about your life. Nobody wants to hear it, especially women and children, because they are not problem solvers. They cannot help you get through your own problems as a man. As a man, you are supposed to solve your own problems and then be willing to solve the problems of your children and the women that are in your life. That's not their role to do. So if you got problems and you got feelings and emotions, I understand that. But step aside, get with your boys, talk to your parents, do whatever you got to do. But don't let your women and children see that. Because they have this view of you that you solve the problems. They're not going to solve the problems. And if you don't solve the problem's not going to get solved. And then everybody's being negative and we're staying in the same spot. That's what's going to make them repel for you. That's where your value is as a man, to get through stuff. So as a man, the mindset that you got to have is an optimistic one. Being able to understand that life is going to throw some curveballs at you, and there are going to be some things that are strictly not in your control. That's why people have so much anxiety and worried about everything, because they're trying to control some factors that they don't have no control over. People that have an optimistic mindset do not worry about the things that they cannot control. They understand that life is going to eventually throw them curveballs, and they are understanding that the only way they're going to get through it is to get through it. Is that they know that they'll be able to get through it, because it's either, that's the only option really, unless you want to continually face that problem each day until the end of your life. You can't sit there and expect the problem to go away. You have to do something about it. You got to put action. You ever been around somebody that all they do, every time you got around them, all they did was complain about their bills, complain about their girl treating them like this, complain about why they can't move jobs, complained about why they not doing in school, coming up with excuse after excuse as to why their life is the way it is. And if you complain, you will stay the same. Period. Money's tight. Dang. I'm not going to be able to go out this weekend. I got to save that money for my bills. It is what it is. This is some sort of adversity. I ran into a situation. I got a speeding ticket. Had to pay that money. Can't spend that money that I had planned for this. I got to pay it towards that. That's a curveball that got thrown. I'm not going to complain about it. It is what it is. I'm going to get better. I learned from the situation. And so I'm better prepared for it. I'm not going to lose any more money because of it. Or if my money is not good, I got to do what is willing to take to get myself a better income situation. Maybe I need to work more hours. Maybe I need to find a new job. Maybe I need to find a side job. Maybe I need to start that business that I've been procrastinating on. Maybe I need to start investing into that craft or investing into that trade that I know is going to pay me more, and I'm just sitting on my butt not doing nothing about it. Talk is cheap. Talk is real cheap. So no matter, understand that there's going to be some things that's going to come your way. If you think that nothing will happen to you from this day all the way until the last day of your life, you are sadly mistaken, my friend, and you are so naive. I'm here to tell you that that's not the way life is supposed to be lived. You're supposed to get better. You're not supposed to be the same as you were when you were 20 years old, as you were when you were 10 years old. You're not supposed to be the same when you're 30. Once you're 30, you're not supposed to be the same as when you were 20. Your girl left you? Cool. Good. Maybe you'll realize that you need to focus all your energy on yourself as opposed to a woman that's all they're going to do is they're going to leave you once you start putting them as your main priority. Don't place a woman as your main priority, because when they sense that off of you, they repel from you. They don't like that. They don't want to be with you hearing about all your problems and what you got to do to fix it, and you just complaining about life. No. They want to hear a man that's going to say, hey, it is what it is. This is what I'm going to do about it, and we're going to get through it. That's the person that's who I want to be my leader. That's who I want to be my leader. If I was to have a leader, if who I was supposed to look up to, understanding that no matter how life dark gets, that as long as they calling the shots, they going to get us through it. They going to figure out a plan. You ever watch the show? Game of Thrones, for example? And they was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Should we attack? Should we not attack? Jon Snow said, this is what we gonna do. We'll be all right. Look at Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. Look how he looks at things that come his way as he's going through all these different hurdles in life. Watch that Game of Thrones and watch the character Jon Snow and see how he reacts. See how he addresses his problems. People look to him for the leader, as the leader, to get them out of their situation. He wasn't a leader that appointed himself to be the leader. They chose him to be the leader because of how he solves problems. He didn't want to be a leader. He said, hey man, I just want to make sure we good. I'm all in for the family. And the family said, we want to make you leader. His team said, you need to be the leader. We'll follow you because we know if you are calling the shots, we know that we are going to be successful. That's who they want in charge. That's who women respect. That's who men respect. That's who children respect. They don't respect somebody that just says, oh, well, here they come. They finna attack us. Ain't nothing for us to do. No. They want somebody that's going to be like, yo, I want to live. Who's going to look out for me? Who's going to watch my back? Who's going to make sure I'm in the best situation possible for me to live the best possible life? What value do you bring? So, as you self-reflect on yourself and wondering whether or not you have this mindset, it's okay. It's a growing thing. I didn't come up with this all of a sudden, but when I figured it out, I said, oh, I need to share this. I realized that everything in my life started to change. Life started getting a little bit easier. Life wasn't so hard anymore. People in my life start becoming more friendly and more welcoming and more cooperative. I didn't have to go through strife with people. I didn't have to go through strife with relationships. Each relationship that I go through as I get older has become easier and easier and easier. When I was in high school, I was having strife with my girlfriend, having strife with my best homie, and it's all because I needed to experience that to make me better. So, as you're watching this video, self-analyze yourself, understanding that you're not going to be at the finish line. You're not going to have this solved all in one day. It's going to take time and it's going to take work. Are you willing to put the work in? Put the work in. Adopt this mindset into your life and watch what God will send your way. Watch the fruits of your labor start heading your way. And that's all I got for y'all, man. Like and share the video. I'm out.